A red Nissan Maxima is flying down an Illinois highway. Squad cars stack behind it. A helicopter circles overhead. The driver is Jason Karel. Police are chasing him because, hours earlier, 3 children were found dead inside his home in Round Lake Beach, Illinois: Bryant, 5, Cassidy, 3, and Gideon, 2. And before the day is over, investigators will connect this chase to a note left inside that house. One sentence that frames what this was really about. If I can't have them, neither can you. But to understand how it reached a highway bridge in Joliet, you have to go back to the first moment the alarm was raised. Monday, June 13th, 2022, Round Lake Beach. It's the middle of the day when police are contacted to check on 3 kids at a home in the 200 block of East Camden Lane in the Sutton-on-the-Lake subdivision. The children are supposed to be picked up from their father. Their mother is worried enough that she calls for a welfare check. Police arrive. They go inside, and they find the 3 children dead. The Lake County coroner later determines the cause of death: drowning. Now the case turns from welfare check to homicide. The next question is immediate and simple. Where is their father? Officers realize Jason Karel is missing, along with his car, a red Nissan Maxima. That car becomes the first major lead, because if the suspect is still mobile, every minute matters. Inside the home, investigators find a written message addressed to the children's mother. It includes the line, "If I can't have them, neither can you." That sentence matters because it points to motive without needing guesswork. It ties the crime to separation, custody, and control. Investigators believe the killings were driven by Jason Karel's refusal to accept losing his family on someone else's terms. Police also find blood inside the home. Later, authorities connect that blood to self-inflicted injuries Karel caused after the children died. So the scene tells a clear story. 3 children died. A father is missing. A vehicle missing. A note that reads like revenge. Now it has become a manhunt. Police broadcast the vehicle description. Illinois State Police locate a car matching it and attempt a traffic stop. The driver doesn't pull over. He accelerates. That one decision turns a homicide investigation into an active pursuit. A chase builds fast, multiple squads, highway speeds, and a helicopter tracking from above. At this point, officers still don't know what kind of threat they're dealing with, but they know the stakes. Because this isn't a stolen car chase. This is a father fleeing after 3 children are found dead. The chase ends in Joliet near I-80 when Karel's crashes. He survives. Police take him into custody at the scene. After the crash, Karel makes statements to officers wearing body-worn cameras indicating he was responsible for the deaths. He also says he tried to kill himself multiple times after the children died, but those attempts failed. Now investigators have 3 pieces locked in place. The children are dead. The father fled. The father is now in custody, making statements of responsibility. But a case like this isn't finished by an arrest. Next comes the part prosecutors build around: the method, the timeline, and the why. Because the note already points toward motive, control, revenge, ownership. But motive has layers. And police still need to establish what happened inside that house, step by step. By the end of June 13th, Karel was no longer running. He's alive, in custody, and investigators are moving toward formal charges. And the case is about to shift from the chaos of a chase to the cold structure of a criminal file. What he did. How he did it. What he wrote before he ran. And what he said after the crash. Because 3 children are dead. And a note was left behind that reads like a warning turned into a decision. Early afternoon, Monday, June 13th, 2022. A home sits in the 200 block of East Camden Lane in Round Lake Beach. 3 children are supposed to be safe inside. Their mother contacts the police for a well-being check around 1:40 p.m. because she can't get an answer and something feels wrong. Officers arrive and go in. Inside, they find 3 kids dead: Bryant, 5, Cassidy, 3, and Gideon, 2. At that point, the case becomes 2 urgent missions at once. Confirm what happened to the children. And find their father. Because Jason Karel is not there. Officers secure the scene and start clearing rooms. They need to know if anyone else is inside. They need to know if there's an immediate threat. The body cam audio captures the mother screaming for her kids to wake up as police move in. Officers spot blood in multiple areas and begin tracing it from room to room. What is confirmed is that blood is present in the home, and later authorities connect it to self-inflicted injuries, Karel's caused after the children died. Then investigators find something that locks the motive into place without debate. A note addressed to the children's mother. One line stands out. "If I can't have them, neither can you." That line turns a family tragedy into a targeted act. Not an accident. Not a medical emergency. A message. The Lake County coroner later rules the children's deaths as drowning. That matters because it immediately contradicts the early confusion at the scene. If blood is present, it doesn't mean the children were killed with a blade. It means the scene is messy, and the suspect may have hurt himself after the killings. Some officers at the scene initially discussed choking or neck marks before the coroner's final determination. The confirmed outcome is drowning. As investigators process the home, they also account for what isn't there. Jason Karel is gone. And a key piece is missing with him: his car. Police identify it as a red Nissan Maxima. Now the entire region is on alert. If they find the car, they likely find Jason. If they find Jason, they get answers fast. Because the note and the scene inside the home already point in one direction. Illinois State Police locate a car that matches the description. They attempt a traffic stop. The driver does not comply. He accelerates. And now it's a pursuit. This is no longer just Round Lake Beach dealing with a homicide scene. It's multiple agencies, multiple units, and a helicopter tracking from above. The chase continues across highways, with units calling positions and trying to box him in as traffic tightens. 17 minutes. High speed. Shoulders. Lane changes. And then it ends the way many high-speed pursuits end. A crash. The chase ends near I-80 in Joliet on a highway bridge. Jason Karel crashes. He survives. Police move in and take him into custody at the scene. This is where the case gets even more direct. After the crash, Karel makes statements to officers wearing body-worn cameras indicating he is responsible for the children's deaths. He also says he tried to kill himself multiple times after the children died, but failed. That explains 2 things investigators already saw: why blood was inside the home, and why he ran. At this stage, investigators don't need a complicated theory. They have the children dead at home. They have the father fleeing. They have a note that reads like ownership and punishment. They also know the parents were separated and dealing with custody. That context matters because it's the classic pressure point in family annihilation cases. The moment a parent decides, if I can't keep the family, no one can. That is exactly what the note communicates. By the end of June 13th, Jason Karel is alive and in custody. The children are gone. Jason Karel survives the crash. He's taken to the hospital under police watch. And before investigators move him to a cell, they push for one thing: answers while the timeline is still fresh. A detective meets Karel at the hospital and begins questioning within hours of the crash. The goal is simple: lock down motive and method, in his own words, before he has time to build a cleaner story. Karel doesn't start with the kids. He starts with his marriage. He claimed his relationship with Deborah was toxic and manipulative. He claimed she lied to him for years and treated him like he had no worth. He claimed he had just found out she cheated on him and left him for someone else. He says he learned this 2 days before. Then investigators move him to the core question. What happened to the children? He claimed he doesn't fully understand why he did it. Then he gives a reason anyway. He claimed he believed the kids deserved to be with him. He claimed he felt Deborah was neglecting them. He claimed he told himself he was saving them. He claimed he didn't want to be in pain anymore. He claimed he thought they would all be together after death. Those statements matter because they frame his mindset as a mix of control, fear, and justification. And investigators keep him there for specific reasons, because the motive isn't just anger. Motive is the story a killer tells himself before he acts. Investigators press for a clock. He claimed a phone call with Deborah ended around midnight. He claimed roughly 30 to 45 minutes later, he started everything. He claimed something snapped after things she said on that call. He claimed she called him a terrible father and husband. He claimed the call ended well, but he didn't believe it. He says the killing started around 1 a.m. This is where his story begins to contradict itself inside the same conversation. Because he also claimed it was never about getting back at her. Then he admits he knew the only person who would feel the impact was Deborah. He claimed he didn't want to hurt her. Then he explains he avoided being there when she arrived because he feared he would hurt her too. That's the pressure point investigators watch closely: planning versus impulse. Investigators confront him with what was found on the kitchen table. Police found a note to the children's mother that included the line, "If I can't have them, neither can you." He claimed he wrote the letter first. He claimed the letter was connected to her swearing on the kids' lives that she wasn't cheating. He says the letter includes, "I hope it was worth it." There's another message written on a board. "You promised, you swore, you lied." By the end of the hospital interview, Karel's reasons stack up in layers. He claimed he was saving them from neglect. He claimed he couldn't handle the pain. He claimed he felt he had to be with them forever. He claimed he was triggered by cheating and lies. Investigators don't have to choose one motive on day one. They collect them all. Because in cases like this, motive often isn't one clean sentence. It's a bundle of justifications used to excuse something unforgivable. The next morning, Karel is transported to the police station. Deborah is interviewed nearby in a more comfortable room because investigators view her as a grieving parent, not a suspect. Then she's told the truth. Karel is in custody. The children are dead. Deborah reacts in disbelief and asks if he's dead. Now investigators let her speak. She describes walking into the home, noticing blood, realizing Karel's car was gone, and then finding all 3 children on a bed. She raised the alarm that day, and the children were found inside the home. Investigators returned to Karel for another round. He claimed he was unemployed and felt he should have been seeing the kids more. He claimed the custody situation and the relationship conflict were consuming him. He claimed he knew at some point Deborah would arrive. Then he admits a major detail that undercuts the "it wasn't about her" claim. He claimed he realized around midday that she'd be there soon. He claimed he left the home to avoid being there when she arrived. That matters because it shows he understood what she would walk into. It shows he understood the shock he was leaving behind. Karel survived the crash near Joliet. Police took him into custody the same day 3 children were found dead inside the home on Camden Lane. From there, the case moved fast into the legal system because the facts were already locked in place. The children were dead. The coroner ruled drowning. Karel fled. And a note was left behind with one clear message: "If I can't have them, neither can you." Within days, prosecutors filed 3 counts of first-degree murder against Jason Karel, one for each child: Bryant, Cassidy, and Gideon. The charging choice mattered. It signaled that the state was not treating this as an accident, a misunderstanding, or a moment that got out of hand. It was being treated as an intentional homicide of 3 children. And the note inside the house supported that direction. It didn't read like confusion. It read like ownership. It read like punishment. As the case moved forward, the biggest question wasn't, did he do it? The biggest question became, what was happening inside his mind when he did it? That's where the guilty but mentally ill path enters the story. In Illinois, guilty but mentally ill does not erase guilt. It does not mean the person walks free. It means the court accepts guilt while also recognizing mental illness as part of the case, and the system is expected to provide treatment while the sentence is served. So the case had 2 lanes running at the same time. Prosecutors proving the killing, and defense raising mental illness as a major factor. In December 2023, Jason Karel entered a guilty but mentally ill plea. That was the legal turning point, because it meant there would be no full trial where jurors decide guilt. The court accepted guilt, and the case shifted into sentencing. It also meant Jason Karel would not be able to argue later that he didn't do it. The focus became the punishment. In February 2024, the court imposed the sentence: life in prison without parole. That sentence matched the scale of the crime. 3 children. 1 act. No second chance. And even with a guilty but mentally ill plea, the sentence still landed at the maximum end because the facts were not just severe, they were irreversible. The note, especially the line, "If I can't have them, neither can you," did something critical. It stripped away uncertainty about who the act was aimed at. It wasn't only violence against the children. It was also violence aimed through the children. It framed the killings as control. If the marriage ends, if the custody changes, if the family is no longer his to keep, then no one gets them. That is why this case is often discussed as a revenge-driven family killing. Even when a defendant claims pain, claims despair, claims mental illness, the note still sits there as a deliberate statement of purpose. A life sentence closes a case on paper. It does not close in real life. Deborah Karel lost all 3 of her children in one day. There's no court outcome that returns that. And for anyone watching this case from the outside, the hardest part to accept is how quickly it happened. A custody exchange. A single day. A welfare check. 3 children are gone. A father fleeing. Then the end of the road. Arrest, plea, life sentence. Deborah started a GoFundMe that raised tens of thousands for funeral and court-related expenses. The court's final answer was simple. Jason Karel is guilty. He will spend the rest of his life in prison. And the 3 children, Bryant, Cassidy, and Gideon, are gone forever. Jason Karel's case is a straight line from a family breakup to a crime scene. On Monday, June 13, 2022, police were called to a home on Camden Lane in Round Lake Beach, Illinois for a welfare check. Inside, officers found 3 children dead: Bryant, 5, Cassidy, 3, and Gideon, 2. The cause of death was drowning. Jason Karel, their father, was gone. So was his red Nissan Maxima. Inside the home, police found a note with a line that framed the motive in one sentence. "If I can't have them, neither can you." That message turned this from a tragedy into a targeted act, built around control, separation, and custody. Police issued alerts for the vehicle. An officer spotted a car matching the description and tried to stop it. The driver refused. He sped off. A chase built quickly, multiple units and a helicopter tracking overhead. It ended near I-80 in Joliet when Karel crashed. He survived. Police took him into custody at the scene. With Jason Karel in custody, the case moved into court. He was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, 1 for each child. Later, he entered a guilty but mentally ill plea. That plea did not reduce the seriousness of the crime. It meant the court accepted guilt while recognizing mental illness as part of the case, and that treatment would be handled inside the prison system. In February 2024, the court imposed the final punishment: life in prison without parole. That sentence closed the legal side of the case. But it doesn't close what happened to the mother who expected a normal pickup day and instead walked into the worst possible discovery. 3 kids were gone. A home became a crime scene. And the person responsible was their own father. If there's a takeaway from this story, it's the danger of escalation during separation and custody conflict, especially when one person starts thinking in terms of ownership instead of parenting. When threats appear, when control turns into obsession, the risk can rise fast. Thank you for watching this episode of Silent Evidence, True Crime Exposed. If you found this story compelling, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Join us next time as we explore another chilling true crime case. Stay safe and take care.